Mr. Hetzke.
Here. Oh.
Bastian.
Here.
Danicourt.
Here.
Canower.
Here.
McCord.
Here.
Tidings.
Here.
Valentine.
Here.
Sangster.
Here.
Weisar.
Here. All right, we got minutes?
Yes,
Last meeting?
you had draft meeting minutes from April 9th. They were in your drop probably a couple weeks ago.
Anybody care to move to approve?
All right, I'll make the motion.
Hetzke.
Aye. Yeah, this one we got.
Bastian.
Aye.
Danicourt.
Aye.
Canower.
Aye.
McCord.
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
We have two tabled items on your agenda that we've been carrying over for a couple of meetings. The first is the Shaw property at 2041 Penfield Road. That's a project that was on hold for a little while. They've recently resubmitted plans. We got those in your drop last time. Based on what we had at the public hearing, the board had some comments and our comments back to them. They've acknowledged, I think, or revised almost everything. The only thing that they had requested was not to install the bollards. We had asked for bollards at the corners of the buildings. They wanted to keep it more residential character looking. They said they've had a driveway through there for many years, have not had any issue with it. They've requested not to install the bollards, just to keep it more of a residential appearance in front. So that's about the only thing of what we sent back with the board's comments, concerns. They added the landscaping in the front. They added the turnaround as the board had requested. The sidewalk has been added in the front of the building, which was approved with the previous building that was added on the property. Lighting, there's only a light over the garage door just for security, and I think it's motion activated for security only over the door. This previously has gone to the town board. Initially it is a PD district, then went to the zoning board of appeals for the setback variance because the change in the right-of-way along the road varies. It does match up or line up with the building next to it, so it's not any further forward than that. Needs to come before this board if you're ready to approve it or move on it. Then ultimately then needs to go back to the town board. As being a PD district, they would then close it out once it goes through all the different steps. I don't know if the board has any thoughts on the bollards, concerns with the plan, wants to see anything additional.
You're talking light bollards.
No, we had talked just on the corners of the buildings here, just with people coming and going. At the I mean, it is
Somebody banging into it?
Somebody banging into it. It's a residential garage. Obviously, nobody has bollards by their entrance to and from their garage.
No.
It was just a thought of staff is whether they're needed or not. It's up to this board is whether you want to require them or if you're comfortable with leaving it as it is.
They can always put them in later.
They put it later, or, I mean, it's gonna be their issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a town facility, it's private property. It was just more of a recommendation from the board, but it was whether you want to enforce that or not.
I think it's
Yeah, I
I
don't,
don't see a big reason to.
yeah.
Okay.
Terry, thoughts? Yours?
I voted against it to begin with. So I'm sure you want my thoughts on it.
All right.
Want me to make a motion and then, Sure.
I'm okay with it,
You're okay?
with no bollards.
Okay. Any other items,
No.
concerns, anything else you need to see? It's matching the architecture of the existing building that's there now.
So
They
we can
provided
approve-
renderings in the past.
As is by the zoning board?
Yes, the zoning board approved that reduced setback
Do they have any other comments?
from the zoning board.
No.
That was the only request, was just the setback variance from that, so that was their
Anybody have any
resolution.
other comments? Are we ready to?
You did have a draft approval resolution and a draft EAF template in your drop.
So if we want to get this moving forward or
So
not? It's,
move to approve.
A second.
There's a second.
We gotta do the EAF first.
What,
Okay, EAF then.
Okay.
McCord and
McCord.
Bastion?
No,
record and the non-court.
The non-court?
That's correct.
That's correct.
The non-court.
That's correct.
So I've been saying it wrong this whole time?
Well, you've been calling me other names.
Okay.
She just didn't want to say anything to make you feel bad.
That's all. I'll just answer no matter what.
I'm sorry. Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastion,
aye.
Danicourt,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
McCord,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Okay. And this is for
That's for the part 2.
2, okay.
Yep. And then if somebody wants to move the draft approval. Sebastian moved and
Bastion.
McCord
McCord.
second.
Okay. Don't get me. Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastion,
Aye.
Danicourt,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
McCord,
Aye.
Tidings.
Okay.
We didn't give you the pleasure because we knew.
So that one is moved. The second tabled item we had was for 2775 Penfield Road. This one's been tabled for a little while, waiting for them to do the perk tests with the leach lines. Have heard from Mr. Romeo on May 11th, said that the perk tests were done. Based on the results, they are designing the septic system now. They were witnessed by the health department. I think as we kind of had guessed, the leach field is going to be bigger than they had thought, so I believe they're going to be taking the shed off, sliding the house over, so they're working on making revisions to their plan. So we ought to see something possibly at your next meeting based on that. So
Okay.
again, I would suggest the board take no action on this tonight until we see something additional.
All right. We got a couple miscellaneous.
We do have a couple of miscellaneous items. The first is Qdoba. We did receive a request from them for another 90-day extension. Spoke with Mr. Trotta today, yesterday maybe. They have submitted their plans for the building. They've been working on foundations, working on finalizing the plans, so they have submitted. So they do plan on starting shortly. Their approval is expiring on the 13th, so we need to make sure that they're asking for another 90-day extension if this board is supportive of that.
Anybody have an issue with it? I don't. So we want to move.
I'll move to grant another 90-day extension. Second.
Bastion and Canower.
Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastion,
Aye.
Danicourt,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
McCord,
Aye.
Tidings.
Aye.
Okay, next item we have is Taco Bell. Taco Bell came in with a request to modify the drive-through. You can see it on the lower left. This board approved probably about a year ago revised architecture of the outside of the building. They want to come in and change their call box and change their menu board. Those are normal things we handle by the building department. They wanted to add a canopy over the top of that. So thought since you guys reviewed the architecture of the building, we'd bring the canopy back before you guys if you had any questions, concerns about what they're looking to put in.
I'd like to see a little bit more detail on what it's actually going to look like. What's the elevation?
Show it in the rendering and or at least some elevation.
Yeah, I mean, that frankly isn't the most attractive.
I'm assuming it's like a
Thing
standing
right there,
seam
but-
metal.
Yeah, so what are the colors? How does it match the building? How high is it?
Okay.
If you're driving south on 250 or north on 250, what's your view of it?
Do they have any of those on any of their other locations?
I'm not sure. It just came through the building department. They passed it by me, and I said, we ought to bring it to the board and get your take on it since you guys did approve the architecture.
Where's the
recently.
drive-through? Is it facing 440?
The drive-through's on the north side of the buildings that would abut the mobile station.
So it's kind of like behind the mobile?
The new
Yep.
car wash.
So that's the call box Doug has indicated on the screen. So
The callbacks would be, yeah.
yeah, you're right. The call box is
So
out
it's sticking
facing
right out
250, so it
Yeah,
is
so the
highly
canopy would
visible.
Come over right about here.
Yeah, so it is visible
Oh, yeah.
from 250, so I can ask them for some colors and some heights and size
Yeah, I
and
mean,
some
it's gonna be a
dimensions on it
pretty
too.
Prominent.
Or if they have other
structure.
other locations.
And that's, I appreciate the fact they want to keep their customers dry while they're ordering.
Yep. Well, if they have pictures of what it looks like in Gates or Webster, or they have it, somewhere else locally, that
Right.
Right.
lends a lot of
Tacos?
tacos.
I saw
Okay.
from that sketch too, it looks like there's lighting underneath it. Because there's a spec on that.
Same time circus menu board. Okay.
So,
Maybe there's
Kinda
a
like
picture
to-
online.
look at the photometrics.
Okay.
You mean with the 120 volt, 60 amps?
Yeah.
4 AM.
I think there's something light
Assuming
in there.
there's some sort of light underneath that.
Is that the
Okay.
Taco Bell website?
No, it was just an example of the new drive-through standard, but there's a couple of them, they look pretty much the same. Yeah. That's it.
4 amps for lighting. You can see just that drive-through.
Big HMI in there.
It's not the same.
All's good and fast food.
McDonald's has those canopies now too.
It's the latest thing, like iced coffee or something,
Yeah,
right?
you gotta have canopy.
I never noticed a problem thinking of food.
It's probably good that they do, because remember I told you we went to McDonald's and that ice.
Oh, the ham was
Ice
hanging
will
out.
just crack my husband's windshield.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead and put that phone in your pocket.
Does the one in Empire
Is
have
that
it?
phone better than mine?
Anybody want a phone?
It's a nice one.
The official planning
can
board
carry
phone.
It's kind of a tablet.
This is a big.
Yeah, I would say if we could get more,
Okay. Yeah, Harold just brought it over, so I said, well, we'll bring it to the board and see if, what the board's thoughts are, but we can get additional information, get a design and a rendering of
yes,
what it is, the colors, some heights and everything else, and then
We're talking.
yeah.
bring it back at your next meeting.
Not that one.
What is that orange?
Yeah, tell Harold we said hello.
Orange.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. Orange, yellow.
Okay. We'll take no action on that tonight, and I'll follow back up with them and get some additional information for you.
Terrific.
Okay, next miscellaneous item is 2100 Penfield Road. This is the UGA dental office. They are also asking for a 90-day extension. I believe she's getting her funding together, her finances to go ahead and build the project. She's still interested in moving forward. Just needs more time to continue with that.
Anybody have a problem with it?
No.
Terry?
No.
I'll make the motion to go ahead with that.
A second.
Tidings in Canower?
Okay, Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Davenport,
Aye.
Canower.
Aye.
McCord,
Aye.
Height.
Aye.
Okay. We have two public hearings tonight. We'll hear those shortly. You do have one public hearing item on for your June agenda. We didn't give it to you tonight. We'll give it to you at your drop along with comments of that. That's the Fox Hill Section 6B subdivision. This will be the final connection between Links Court that ties in Ashland Rise. So, that's right on it. So Links Court ends in the middle of Fox Hill right now. Ashland Rise is the piece coming at the top. This is following along with what was the original overall approval for the subdivision. So that'll be your one public hearing item for June. But I'd say it's not in your drop tonight. We'll give it to you at the work session along with PRC comments and
Can I take a
comments.
photo?
So that
Actually, currently,
Ashland Rise is
where is
in.
it? It's gonna tank right there. Is that T road isn't in though, is it?
Yes.
That one is?
Yep. Ashland Rise is in.
Totally.
It's all in.
Not all the homes are there. They're still in construction, and the road
The
is.
road is complete?
I believe so. I know I've driven up and around the
Yeah,
cul-de-sac.
the
and maybe
road
the
is,
T
for the most
is
part,
down there.
complete, yeah. This is old. They finished houses.
I haven't driven up there.
Yes, that was Ashland Rise Phase 1, and now they're in Ashland Rise Phase 2 is the upper piece. So this will complete that and give another access point into and out of that neighborhood.
Is that another future phase right there where the green area?
That's
green
the
space?
that's the piece you're going to see in June.
Oh, that's the part, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was the part up above that.
No, the part up above was a town board application because it was an incentive zoning piece, so that went to the town board for Ashland Rise. Fox Hill is the continuation of a previous planning board overall project. It's been many years of construction for Fox Hill, and then Fairview Crossing, the piece south of that was all kind of tied together.
Yeah, they ultimately bought that north part, or Fairview Crossing from Metros.
Yep. So this will be the last piece of Fox Hill. That's all the items I have.
That's June.
For the board. So we do have two public hearings tonight. The first is an expansion to Heathwood Senior Living Facility, and the second is an application for St. Joe's Church. If you're hearing those at 7 o'clock.
And we got hope you all took a look at the draft approval for St. Joe's. It should be pretty straightforward. So if we feel so inclined, everybody's reviewed it, we might be able to move it tonight. Looks pretty simple. So should we recess until 7 o'clock? All right, let's recess. Good evening and welcome to the May 14th, 2015 meeting of the Penfield Planning Board. As with all our meetings, we'd like to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Tonight we have two items on our agenda. We have a sketch plan and a public hearing for preliminary and final approval. The sketch plan is, if you don't know how our system works, it's an informal discussion with an applicant who has an idea for a particular development, but it's not an official application. So they present their idea. There's not a lot of engineering expense. It tries to get a rough idea of the board's and the public's reaction to a project without having to commit an extraordinary amount of resources to it. So just keep that in mind when you're viewing this application. So Catherine or Mark or whoever's filling in for Zachary, please read the first item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First application, James Bammel, Bammel Architects, 6459 West Quaker Street, Orchard Park, New York, 14127. On behalf of Heathwood Assisted Living Facility, requests an informal discussion with the board regarding plans for a two-story, 44-unit building addition of 28,175 square feet and a re-subdivision of property with associated site improvements on 12.1 acres located at 100 Elderwood Court and 2030 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road. The properties are now or formerly owned by Limestone Development Corporation, LLC, and Elderwood Rochester ALF Property Company, LLC, and zoned MR. Application number 15P-0009, SBL number 125.03-2-55, and 140.01-1-1.3.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jim Bammel, and as Mark said, I'm here on behalf of Heathwood Assisted Living at Penfield. The project is a two-story addition to the north side of the building, as we see up in this area. We've maneuvered some of the shape configurations of the building to try to stay away from as many variances as we possibly could, most of which consisted sliding this corner back further so we could, off of the property line, try to maintain our 80-foot setback that was required with this property rezoning years ago. We have a small corner of that piece that still is on the radius at about 65 feet. We are going to seek a variance for that. We've also reparceled the land that you see in the yellow line here. That's a new proposed property line. We were here about a year ago with a slightly different version of that yellow line location. We have now, through various conceptual meetings, determined that this is the better configuration that we can do. One, by sliding the building to get away from the variance, and the second was to allow for future possible water service to this property. In discussions with the municipality on that, a 10-foot wide dimension is all they really need. So that's what we would propose to do. Come back with a new Mylar submission on that re-subdivision of the land. The reason the line is there is by way of funding particular projects like this. When we get into, this is a HUD-funded project, and so will the addition be. The intention is always that this would be additional, perhaps independent housing, which was always the scheme. I think that will always be based on the needs of the town at the time that the developer thinks that that would happen. Should that go for additional HUD funding, it cannot be contiguous within the same property with a memory care unit in assisted living. And since what we're proposing to do is memory care on the first floor of the same assisted living use group, and then standard assisted living on the second, we need to create a boundary so they can at least finance the project through the company of HUD. That in a nutshell is kind of what we're doing. The proposed project itself would be matching in style, materials, dimension, and everything that the existing building has. We are maintaining the fire lane around the building. And there is currently a sewer easement that comes through here to the town that's going to be rerouted around the outside of the building to accommodate this. And we add a few parking spaces in front just by sheer numbers of what we expect for visitation. Okay.
Are they two parcels today?
Actually, they are. We did have the approved separation of the parcel about a year ago.
Where are the existing lines?
Basically, it runs right through here. A straight line runs right through here right now. So this piece is being pulled into this parcel, and then we're expanding this up to the now northern boundary there.
How about architecturals? Match the existing
All the
building
materials,
architecturally?
everything will look exactly like the existing building. The existing building has portions of brick elements and then a low band. We repeat that same concept with this building going around. All materials will match the color.
A lot of additional traffic and parking and requirements of that nature?
Not really. The nature of the people who are here is that they're usually using public transport or some kind of in-house transportation. It's visitors that we deal with more than anything, especially in the memory care unit. Half of this condition is 20 memory care units. So the visitors there and then the occasional people that may have a car generally don't use it, but they have a spot for them. It's more employees than anything that we're providing for.
You know how many additional employees you'd have?
We put about 12 on per shift, and there's 3 shifts.
Okay. What was the other thing I was going to ask? Well, I'm thinking about it. Anybody?
How many variances, Jimmy?
Just one variance, and it's that one corner, because the arc catches the corner of the building right there, from 80 to 65 feet. We're actually 69, but we're going to take it to 65 for safety in survey.
And when you have the new building, how many rooms will that have between the 2 floors? Are they single occupant rooms or?
There'll be 44 beds, put it that way. A couple of them are doubles, just so that we can fill the occasional demand in the area for that.
When would be the ideal time that you want to get building on this? What's the proposed timeframe?
The sequence right now is probably October, only because of the sequence and running it through HUD's programs right now with the 60 and 30-day notices that they need for funding and the bidding requirements we have. We're a little nervous about starting at that time of year, So we're contemplating that, but that would be the most optimistic we could do.
Okay.
The memory care, is there going to be any daycare there, or are they just going to be permanent? I mean, are people going to come in, be dropped off to give maybe a spouse or somebody a break, and then come back at the end of the day and pick them up, or is...
Good question. It's not transient at all, and it's not a daycare function. They are living there. This is their quarters.
Okay.
They're probably, by definition of the Department of Health, there might be a few people in the existing building that indeed could be in that facility. But there's quite a need in the area right now, is what's been proved. So it's daycare with a little more effort, with a little bit of memory loss.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Yep.
Will you have to add on to any of your, like kitchen facilities, HVAC, all those types of systems to add into that?
The
Or add on to 44 units?
Right. The support services, laundry, kitchen, are all being handled with what equipment we have. That's not a difficult thing to do. The utilities, we will provide, there's basement space in this because grade falls off. So we are going to be bringing more water from the existing tap. We're not going back to the road for any additional taps. Everything's coming off of what's currently on this property.
Okay.
But the meter will spin a little more, but we're not pulling any more out of the system.
Will you be adding buffering from that north located roadway to the property to the north?
I'm glad you brought that up. It is something that we're going to do, especially right here. This is where we
Okay.
need, if anything. It's the north property. There's a series of residences here. When this was rezoned years ago, when they built this, it was an 80-foot buffer required. So what we intend to do, since we're not in the 80 here, just this portion, we are going to plant low growth underneath, because there are trees there, but most of them have limbed up over the years, right up along the fence line.
What would you anticipate for lighting for safety along that north roadway?
We don't need much for our own facility. We'll do the direction of the engineering department for what we need to do for life safety and fire lane access, which basically is a one candle per square foot, 1 foot candle of light.
Okay.
I see a narrow connector between the two buildings.
Yes.
Why not pull the whole building down? And why do you need that connector? Why do you need the space there rather than just an addition to the building? It seems like a separate building the way you've got it.
It virtually is, but there are rooms along this side right now with windows that the residents need for it to be a legal unit. So the connection that we have is allowing for a separate footprint with a minimal connection in either building. We're impacting the existing building very, very little in this way, and keep everybody in place. It's a full building. So there's an exit stair right in that location. So it's a proper location for us to, there's an elevator immediately inside. So access for moving in and out is convenient for both sides at that connection point. We also create an inner courtyard by doing this. By New York State law, anybody with memory care is required to have outdoor controlled courtyard space. So we're putting it internal to the property by doing that.
So did you say there's an entrance into that connecting piece?
There's a controlled entrance. It's not a public entrance. It's only by key from the facility. It's actually a legal exit, but if somebody needed to move in, they could use it to do that.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone in the audience like to comment on this proposal?
Yeah, sorry, one more question.
Oh,
Sorry.
absolutely. Sorry, you gotta wait.
Is that a driveway I see in the back, and then I guess my question is there any kind of loading facility in that whole back side, north side of the building?
That's good, too. The existing drive loop did go right through here and around the building. By putting the addition on, we're taking the fire lane and drive loop around the whole thing and connecting back. this is currently the service area of the building where the kitchen and laundry does occur. So all of that stays and nothing really changes. We've got, the condensers are back there. There's a grease trap pad, so we're keeping everything in that same quiet area. We're actually going to be improving the screening of everything in that area right now. The dumpster enclosure is not in good shape. We're going to rebuild that and actually get 3 containers in there. One for recycling is really the purpose, and the other 2 are normal.
Is the walkway that's shown, is that single story or would that be 2-story?
Single story, just at the first level.
First level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone in the audience care to comment on this application? Okay. Thank you. Oh, all right.
It's almost like you're bidding on something.
Sold. Going once. All right, well, thank you for coming in. What we will do is discuss this and get a letter put together for you, which will go out, I can't promise
Early part
exactly
of
when,
next
but
week.
early part of next week would be my
We'll
guess.
summarize the board's comments in a letter, questions, concerns, and then we'll send you, if you do want to proceed forward, the requirements for preliminary final. We'll get that stuff out to you along with the letter from the board. So
Wonderful.
you can
Okay.
proceed
Great.
forward with that.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, and I apologize if I didn't make eye contact. The acoustics make you look to see where the sound is coming from. but-
You're absolutely fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. All right, Mark, would you like to read the next item?
Yep. Second application, Gerard D. Romanis, Labella Associates, 300 State Street, Suite 201, Rochester, New York, 14614. On behalf of St. Joseph's Catholic Church, request under Article 9-9-2, 10-10-4 of the Code for preliminary and final site plan and conditional use permit approval to construct a 3,138 square foot entrance addition with associated site improvements on 9.8 acres, located at 35 and 39 Gebhard Road, Penfield, New York, 14526. The property is now or formerly owned by St. Joseph's Catholic Church and School and is zoned R115. Application 15P-0010, SBL number 124.18-1-83.1.
I got a lot of boards, sorry guys.
Graphics are always good. If you could try to avoid the microphone there. Oh,
That's good. Yeah, I'll just hold them up if I got it. Thanks, Jim. Evening, board.
good evening.
My name's Mike Hall. I'm standing in for Jerry today with Labella Associates. I'm here with Jim Patachowski with St. Joseph's Catholic Church and School. What we are proposing to do is do a 3,000 square foot addition to the church and school itself. Currently on the site, you have the campus that has the church sanctuary in the front, school gymnasium on the right-hand side, administration offices, and the rest of it is the school itself with a single residence.
Can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yep.
Hey, Brian, can you hear him through the microphone downstairs? Mark, can you maybe help him move the plant so that that microphone that's on that little shelf, I think think there's a microphone on the bottom shelf that picks up when you're facing the plan. See a little black square?
I can just hold this up.
This is our high-tech,
No, that's good, because I'm going to flip it. There's other drawings in the back.
it's our high-tech, truly transparent
Yeah.
government. Unlike
We'll figure it out.
unlike our federal government. Yes, I said that on the record. Okay, sorry,
Okay,
go
so-
ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. So in the campus itself, and I believe you guys have copies of the drawings and you've seen them, there's a crosshatch area, and that represents the 3,000 square foot addition itself. And looking at the rendering, just to give you the scope of it, is this is the east wing of the church. So this is existing, and this is all new, and that's the front facade of the gymnasium. To start us off with the work to the, oh shoot, I'm gonna flip this now. To the existing building, because we're doing a lot of demolishing. Okay. So right here, we're looking at the south facade, and this is the main entrance into the school. This is the east entrance into the church itself. So what's coming out is all this existing concrete plaza, the steps, there's an ADA ramp, and then the entrance into the school, that's going to come out. And what we're doing is we're going to have a new atrium that's more of a circulation space to provide cover from the elements and increase circulation between the church and the school itself, but also increase protection and security to the school to be able to have more control of what's going on as people come in and out of the building. So in terms of the overall scope of demolition, not only do we have the plaza coming out, we have the sidewalk coming out here, and then we have the vestibule into the church itself that's going to be removed. This is a back breezeway that's all grass, and that is going to be infilled as well. So to give you a better idea of where this thing is going, is you have all the blue is going to be the new addition. So all the white around is existing, church, gymnasium, and blue is the addition itself.
What about the light blue?
The light blue is interior renovation work.
Okay.
So back in where the existing entrance into the school was right here with that storefront system. So we're coming all the way out to the sidewalk itself. The existing sidewalk is from here over, and it runs straight, and then we're going to replace all this, and we're going to add a new curb cut here, because right now it comes straight across and turns 9 degrees, which makes it a little tricky for plowing and traffic circulation. So we're going to radius that off, add a new curb cut, ADA. And another thing, since we're taking out all those steps and the ramp as well, we're putting in an access lift on the inside for better movement for handicapped individuals and to solve our ADA issues. So you might have seen before, this is a St. Joseph statue. There's an existing one that's over in this area. We're taking him out, and we're going to build a new monument for him, and he's going to go in this area. He'll have some boxwood shrubs around him and some landscaping to replace some of the lost vegetation that happened in the back. On the new building itself, we're going to try to keep in tune with the overall campus. All the brick veneer is going to be the same as the existing. We'll try to match it as closely as possible. The windows themselves, the fixed tall vertical windows that are flanking the entrance, they're meant to mimic the existing windows that are around the rest of the campus. All the colors are going to be the same. The parapet, the coping, and any of the trim work will all match the existing. The main entrance itself, our peaked area, it's all storefront with tinted glazing to keep reflectance, but also light from the inside from coming out. This is going to be, it's all aluminum paneling that'll wrap that peaked area. And it's meant to give it a more contemporary look, but also to designate the entrance that it's separate from the church, it's separate from the school, it's their new focal point. We didn't want to mimic everything 100%, but still keep in tune with the complex and not take away from it. We have also, just to give you a quick note about lighting, there's no exterior lighting except for 2 recessed sconce on the underside of that canopy that's coming out. The roof is flat from here back, and then the gable itself has asphalt architectural shingles that run all the way back. And I have a roof plan here to show you. I'm just going to flip this. So all the gray is existing. You got it, Jim? Yep. If I had a third arm, I'd be better. There we go. Okay. So all the gray is existing roof. And what you're seeing here is this is your gable that's coming straight back with the pitched asphalt roof shingles. We have 2 low points on either side that are your flat roof. And we are going to have some rooftop units on this building, but they're going to be tucked into the back corner that used to be that grass breezeway area. There's 2 condensing units there's 3 condensing units. One of them is a Mitsubishi unit, which is a very small unit. And the 2 main condensing units are about 3'6" by 3 foot, and they are your typical residential condensing units. They're not huge commercial units that are going to cause a lot of noise. So our goal was to make sure that you cannot see them. From that view right there, you can't see them, and we have, I think you guys may have a copy of this drawing as well, but they are in this 3D model, and so from straight on, you can't see them. From the street, you can't see them. And that was just a note that we wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of.
Where can you see them?
You cannot. Where can you see them? You can't see them from the street. You can't see them from anywhere. They'll be totally concealed. You have to go onto the roof itself to get to them. So from the back, it's all concealed.
So that's a roof area where they're
Yeah.
going? It's not a atrium anymore?
You're talking about this area here?
Yeah.
Yeah, what it is it's storage below, but this is all new construction. That's a flat roof.
Okay.
So this back here is actually a courtyard that they've got. I believe they have a door that goes back to that courtyard. Yeah, and then so we're gonna have access to it. We'll have a ladder that'll be over here, and you come up, and that's the way that you'll get to those units and the rest of the roof. So, but then again, beyond this actually used to be the original sanctuary, and so you've got your peaked here. So if you're standing on this side, you're not going to see anything, and this roof is much higher than all of this. All of these guys, these 3 are your tall peaks, and then this one will be, this is 31 feet, this is 18 foot to the top. So just to give you an idea of how it will be concealed.
Well, you need additional HVAC for the space, right?
That's what these guys are for. Yeah. Yeah, all of this, the one small Mitsubishi condensing unit, that's actually to feed 2 meeting rooms on the inside, and then there's a music room that's over here. But the 2 rooftop units, the condensing units, are specifically for that entrance area.
But they already exist, right? Or no?
No.
Okay, all right.
Everything in this area is brand new construction. I apologize if it's difficult for you to see with the grade out. Just going through my list here real quick. Recessed lights. Yeah, that was. Oh, and parking was another thing that I know was a concern. That there will be no changes to the parking. There will be no increase in parking spaces needed. This is not an area that is meant for any type of occupancy. It's more right now. They have overflow seating in here during the 2 times of the year when they've got mass and it's Christmas time or it's Easter and they just can't fit them. So they have flat screens in this room, and so what they want to do is they're hoping to utilize the space at those 2 times a year to be able to have open seating in here. They've got a flat screen monitor that's on this floor that allows them to use that. So all this again is, I just want to reiterate that it's just a circulation space, and they're not increasing the school occupancy count or the church's occupancy count because of it. their biggest thing, not their biggest thing, but they would love to have, because this is their main school entrance as well, is that while parents are waiting for their kids, that they can wait here, and there's a point person that will be here to be able to direct them, but they'll be out of the elements, and they've got a covered, warm, secure place to do that. That sums up the majority of it. If you have any additional questions.
You don't have a gym now?
I'm sorry?
There's no gym at that school right now?
Yes, there is. Let me just, this is the gym here, the gymnasium. Let's get to the floor plan, I'll help you guys. Okay. This is the gym. All here, and everything from there over is the gymnasium.
The handicap ramp on the outside is being removed as part of this,
Yes, correct.
and so now that moves inside. If people want to get from that level, the sanctuary level, to the school level, there's 4 or 5 steps.
No.
Is that right, or?
There are steps. So right here, this is all at grade. Everything except for a small portion of blue is the same elevation as the sidewalk and the church. So we have an elevator lift where you can come in, hop onto the lift, push a button, you're up, and it's 3'10" is the elevation difference. And then once you're up to this level, then you have access to the rest of the school. And
Is that going to be enough for the kind of crowds you're talking about to get from one level to the next? I mean, it seems like that might be a slow way if people are really trying to.
the lift
Get
that we've
around.
got goes up 17 feet per minute, and we're only going up 3'10". So for someone to have to go in here, they're in, they're up, they're over, they're out, and then this next person can wait. So, and this again, going this way is into the school. There's not as many people who are in need
Right.
of that type of service. It's more so the church. But in those rare occasions when they do have to get people up in here, they have the ability to do that.
There's still going to be steps inside.
Oh,
for
yeah.
There's still steps.
people
Yeah,
who
yeah.
can walk.
There's a set of steps that are
Right, and handicap, so not everyone's going to have to wait for the lift,
No.
just the people in
yeah,
wheelchairs.
no.
Right.
It's not a full elevator either. It's a
Yeah, one of those.
right.
So, and then there's no loss of trees or vegetation?
There is
out
one
there?
deciduous tree that's right here in this corner. That is probably going to be relocated. There's some significance to it with the church. They just haven't picked a location for it yet, so they need to do that. Another thing just to point out is right now, I don't want to flip these boards. So the only grass area of the existing was back here. So obviously we're taking that away, and that was a permeable area. And so one plus is that this area here was where that ADA ramp was. We're taking that out, but we are adding some new grass in over there to compensate for a little bit of the lost greenery. We do have plantings that are around St. Joe, and then we are going to try to restore or salvage the tree that's in the back.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Anyone in the audience care to speak to this application? Going once? Twice? Nobody? Mike, nice job having to pinch hit for Gerard.
Yeah. Yeah, right. He's in the sun, shine somewhere.
Nice.
Oh,
Enjoying himself.
Feel bad.
He deserves it, though.
and you got to come here.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for the presentation. And if you have any closing comments, great. If you don't, we will close this hearing and
Okay.
reconvene
Great. No,
in the
thank you
back
very
of the-
much for
back of the
giving
room.
me the chance to do this. So, I appreciate it,
Sure thing.
Thank you.
and I'll get this better next time.
No, you did just fine.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Have a great night. and we'll call this hearing closed. Call the meeting back to order. Maybe we could, since the St. Joe's folks are still here, go a little bit out of order and talk about that application first, if nobody objects. Thoughts? I know we had a pretty straightforward application. And we had a draft approval, resolution, and a draft. Everybody's had a chance to take a look at it. Does anybody have
Looks good to me.
comments?
We asked,
Any concerns that we couldn't just move forward?
yeah, we asked about the additional parking, whether they were creating more space, whether they need to add it. They said they weren't adding additional occupancy, so that kind of took that out. The handicap lift, they're taking care of that internally. They're replacing the sidewalk in the front to make sure that, it's a better transition, for the residents and the patrons. The only other question was about the tree, but it sounds like they were going to relocate the tree, losing a little bit of green space. I don't know if the board wants any additional plantings. They were going to put some additional plantings around the St. Joe's statue. They were going to plant some boxwoods in there. But I don't know if the board wanted anything additional to that to compensate for the small bit of green grass that's being taken out in there.
Quite honestly, I don't even know. I never even know that that's there. But
What's that, the tree?
the grass.
Oh, yes.
It's not a, stormwater wise, it's insignificant. Stormwater wise, I'm just happy to hear that the tree was being relocated or replanted. I don't know if you want to add a note in there just to say if it can't be transplanted, that something else be put on the site in its absence. But it sounds like they have every intent of trying to relocate that.
Yeah. Everybody,
I'm okay with it.
everybody good? You good with it?
Yeah,
You want to move it?
sure.
So we're gonna do that part 2 first.
Okay,
All right.
Yep.
so move to approve the part 2.
So you have
Yeah.
McCord
McCord
and
and
Second.
Bastian.
Bastian, okay. Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Danicourt,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
McCord,
Aye.
Titans.
Aye.
Okay.
And then if you want to move the draft approval resolution.
Approval resolution.
Sure, move to approve the draft approval resolution.
I'll second.
Okay. Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Danicourt,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
McCord,
Aye.
Titans.
Aye.
All right. We can go build their atrium. Sketch plan. Some notes I had on that, and I'm always pushing for those, I can't remember what they're called, but I just call them like grassy pavers or whatever that, number one, does that fire lane have to be that wide?
According to the fire marshal, yes.
How wide is that?
24 feet.
I wouldn't go down that way.
Why? They have to go around both directions, or?
I guess so they can get around with a fire truck and put the legs down if they had to get up with a ladder and
The outriggers out?
outriggers, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
There's-
lot, that's more than
More than a road.
most, well, it's just more, yeah,
I mean,
more than a road.
most of our
Well,
common
yeah,
roads are
it's-
20 feet wide.
But this type of facility, you probably need 360 access around it with the fire equipment, emergency
I
response.
mean, you're obviously
I
dealing with a
understand, but-
senior population and others,
Yeah.
they're less mobile, so you'd want to get, as much access to the building as possible to get all windows where, I can go back and ask,
Can we ask?
if we
I mean,
can make that
what about
20 feet
using
or
those,
something.
those things that you grow grass in,
Right,
purposeful
grass.
pavers?
No, grass pavers,
Yeah, grass.
there's plastic ones, there's.
Yeah, they
concrete.
can support fire trucks and heavy equipment, and they, you know, they look just like grass, but you could park
Well,
on them, you could plow it, you do anything you need to do.
One thing they can consider, if they want to use that for a walkway, which they might, because I think you mentioned that back, isn't that back area supposed to be a walkway? No, on the other end,
This area here is the courtyard area that they're gonna have.
north of there. Yeah. Is that a walkway?
I think that's
coming out of
just
the building?
I think that's just an exit from the building that gets them
Probably
up to the
So-
road, emergency exit.
You know, some of it could be paved, but there, maybe it's only a 6 or 8 foot wide, almost a walkway, and then the rest of it could be the grass pavers or something like that. We could, I don't know if we can suggest something like that, just so it's not.
I mean, the
so
only thing
much
is just gonna
pavement.
have to be 365 accessible, so it's gonna need to be plowable out here. They're gonna have to maintain it, the loop around, not the,
Gotta plow it.
So most roads are
Yeah.
20 feet wide, yet this needs to be 24 feet wide, because fire trucks can't go on regular roads?
I'll be glad to ask the question.
What about the
Don't have a
location of the
problem
dumpsters? They're gonna be facing 250.
Right out to put
Right
the
now,
house
they're about
back
where
in.
Doug is. Where Doug has the hand on there, that's where the current dumpsters are. So they're kind of turning them in. So actually it'll be the back of the dumpsters, so actually be, I think, a little bit of a
I
better
think it's gonna be
location.
better.
I think it'd be a better buffer than it is today. Right now, it faces south on 250. So if you go by, it's, you know, it's facing southerly. So they're kind of wrapping it internally. We're gonna have to look at the alignment or the path through there. Need to make sure we can get emergency vehicles through there. It does seem a little circuitous right now.
It's less than 24 feet between the dumpster enclosure and whatever that
And
hatched
one of those
mark area
parking
is.
spots.
So we need to, they are showing 9x20s. Our code won't be adopted by then, but we are changing our code to 9x18s. So we could recommend they go to the zoning board, get 9x18s. That'll shrink the parking spaces down a little bit. But I think aligning that pathway through there a little bit better might make it a little more of a smoother path. We're not looking to make it a raceway to people speeding around, but just thinking of trying to get you know, either a delivery truck or an ambulance or a fire truck around there. That's, you know, once you have vehicles in there, that's going to be a little bit more difficult.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
What is the shaded thing that has a little 10 hexagon on it? Yeah, that thing.
It's on the back of the dumpster enclosure. I guess we can ask for clarification if that's just part of the pad.
Is that some kind of structure? I can see where the dumpsters are.
Yeah,
It's shaded
dumpsters
like
in
the
front of it.
building, so it almost looks like a,
Okay.
maybe it's a,
Is
you
it
know,
facade?
sort
It
of
looks like
Cover over it, or?
Yeah, shed or something.
Okay. I'll ask about that.
What's number 10 on the site plan?
Dumpster enclosure.
The dumpster enclosure.
We'll ask for more detail in the preliminary final whether that's a canopy roof. They said they wanted to incorporate recycling into that, so maybe they're putting a little cover over the recycle area. And you can wheel in and sort of, I don't know. We can ask for more detail on that.
Actually, they've done quite a bit for concept.
Yeah.
More than you usually would see. But
Go ahead, Doug.
Does the sewer have to be where they're showing it, heading out to
250.
250?
The sewer exists where it shows the number 5, or wherever that little, the circle is up on the corner. That exists today. So in that dashed area where Doug's outlining is where the sewer
It's already there.
currently exists in the ground. Based on the new building, we don't want to own a sewer that's underneath their building. So they're relocating it out and around. So we're kind of tied in on either end by existing structures and where it's going to connect to on either side of it. They will take a portion of it, will be private because part of their sewer connection goes into that. So that'll turn over to be a private access. This piece here is going to remain and tie back in, but it'll be private going west. The piece going north will be abandoned in place. They'll fill it with flowable fill and just cap it on either end and abandon that portion of it. We'll What's the board's thoughts about the variance request? They will be before the zoning board, I believe, next week for the 80-foot buffer, MR district to single-family residential. He said they're at 65. I believe he said they were going to try to get to 69.
They're gonna buffer it.
That they're going to do some additional
From trees, it's got a high canopy, there's gonna put some low growing, something under the trees.
Yep. I think the Conservation Board's going to, talk about it. And I think one of their comments was to do a tree inventory of what's there now, assess, what's there, what's going to remain, and then, come up with a planning plan based on what they're taking out and what the buffering is needed to the property to the north. So with proper buffering, if the board's supportive of, or make a recommendation to the zoning board that you're supportive of the variance.
I don't think so.
The traffic pattern, most people will not be driving around the backside, right? They're gonna come into the front and park. Only emergency vehicle access
I
there.
mean, it's not restricted, but the majority of the residents don't drive.
Right. So what I'm saying,
So
the
it's-
employees are not gonna be sweeping their headlights across that corner radius there.
I mean, it's possible they could go around. I mean, that could be a property maintenance thing of the owners of it saying employees need to go around the other way, but I don't believe that it's chained off or blocked today that you can't drive around the building. So it is open. So I guess employees, if I worked at the north building, I could go up and around the outside of it rather than going around the inside.
Is there a visitor entrance, I wonder, in that new north section, or is it always through the existing?
I guess that's a clarification question we can ask is, that can, I believe that remains the main entrance and then you access through the main building, but we can ask if there's a, visitor center, visitor entrance in these. They've showed additional parking. Our question was, it's hard to meet a code for a building of this size based on what it is. I'd say the residents don't mostly have vehicles, so our question is, are all those parking spaces required? Are they trying to meet some part of our code, or is it, if they need it for employees, obviously they have shift changes and everything else, so you need to have the new people come in before the other people leave, so there's a little bit of a flux to change it over, but
19 new parking spots?
And visitors.
And visitors, so.
We got 12 employees that they're adding,
Yep.
19 spots.
44
for some.
beds, so.
Yeah.
You're gonna have overlap too between, all right,
People
going
come
off
and
shift
go
and-
off.
Well, there's an additional set of parking down here.
And they've added a little
as well.
additional out onto
Right here.
Pembroke, so the question is,
Yeah.
if you need them all, you need them all. If you don't, maybe consider land banking some of them and.
Right.
Additional parking spaces.
So they own the second parcel to the north there, northeast.
Yep.
Should we ask for, rather than keep seeing this piecemeal, another
Overall
edition,
master
another
plan.
edition?
I mean, originally.
Can they tell
this-
us what their plans are for the whole?
They had,
I mean, originally this board
They did that.
approved, this was the main building, and then there was an access drive that went into the back, and there was cottages. It was separate.
That's approved?
That was preliminary approved. They would have to come back for a final approval, but a preliminary overall had the main building and then basically a cul-de-sac that went into the back, and they were like duplex
yeah,
Quad.
all one level, no.
quad buildings.
No
They were
elevation
part of it.
changes or
Again, senior facility, not single-family residential.
So
You-
how does this affect whether or not they could even do that now?
I mean, they still can. They would have to come back to this board,
Yeah.
in the future for, continued expansion of it. They basically have said that's not currently the market that they've seen. Those could be independent living. You could live there. A nurse service would come in and check on you daily, make sure you're taking your meds, making sure, you would do your laundry or whatever, but you could live on your own. It had its own garage. That was, I don't know, what was it, 2007, 8-ish, I think.
Yeah, before
Somewhere-
they built it.
Yeah, that was part of the overall concept. So we'll do the main building, and then phase 2 would be, that next steps to it. Right now, and that was part of the stormwater design. So the addition of this building isn't tripping anything with stormwater. We'll have to do a supplemental submission showing that they're not increasing the stormwater more than what that was. Just
So this addition wasn't shown on the original plan?
It was not, no. There was a building in that general area over there, and then the road came in, kind of went back this way, and then there was buildings
Yeah.
on either side of it. That all was taken into account with the stormwater facility they have. So this addition of this building, they'll have to justify, they're meeting the stormwater requirements, but once they add more or do more northward, they may have to expand the pond or do something else with that. They're maintaining the same curb cut on Pembroke, not adding any curb cuts on 250. Most of the piece to the east is wetland area, so I don't see a lot of development in the area that's not been disturbed already.
Right.
That's wetland in that area.
What are the chances of building this road right to the edge of the staked wetlands without disturbing the wetlands?
They're going to have to get, at least an Article 24 permit from Army Corps or something that you can disturb up to 1/10 of an acre. It's not DEC wetland, so it's federal. So you can disturb up to 1/10 of an acre with an Article 24 permit from Army Corps. So that'll be a question we'll ask in the sketch plan is, how are you going to handle that? How you, there's got to be some fill redelineation. If it was done in 2008, it hasn't been delineated in 5 years. So the delineation's expired, so we'll ask for a redelineation of the wetlands.
Yep.
Show where the limit is and then how the road impacts that.
Okay.
Just to circle back, I know I kind of heard from AJ about the support of the variance. Is the rest of the board supportive of?
I'm supportive of it.
Okay. So I guess we need direction to send a letter to the zoning board of support. You guys want to
I'll
make a motion for that?
Tonight, for we need a second, Bastion?
Well, the neighbors didn't show up, so.
They did the first time.
And they were supposed to have a meeting with the neighbors, and I don't know if they did. Speaking with Mr. Bammel, they said they were going to have a meeting with the neighbors, invite them over, share the plans with them. So maybe that's happened, and the neighbors are more comfortable with what's going on. But they said they were going to have that. I can't confirm that has happened, but that was the architect's intent. Sorry to interrupt your vote.
Hetzke.
Aye.
Bastian.
Aye.
Danicourt.
Aye.
Canower.
Aye.
McCord.
Aye.
Tight.
Aye.
Okay, so that's sending the letter to the ZBA. Anything else you want to include in the sketch letter? Architecture's the same. Obviously, they'll have to submit a landscape plan. They'll have to submit drainage calcs. We'll ask about the road. Internally, that'll be a staff item. We'll talk with the fire marshal. Suggestions on cleaning up that access way. More definition on the dumpster enclosure. A tree inventory on the north end. Buffer plantings to the neighbor. Lighting plan showing, sounds like just safety only, but if they're going to have some carriage lights or something around the loop drive at nighttime.
I'd like to
over
see,
emergency access.
Dark sky, but horizontal cutoff. Coach lights are not that.
That's residential, but
okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what's out there right now. Probably gonna want to match what's out there right now. And then the question becomes, is if you want that to be really just used as a fire access, chances are they'll be LED by the time they build it, and why can't you just leave them off unless the fire alarm is pulled or something, and then boom, they go on that.
Well, if you look at the traffic pattern, if you're gonna park over there, that new parking lot they're gonna build, they're probably gonna use it.
You think so?
I think so.
I mean, I think the question of is that going to continue to be the main entrance and you still feed into the other building through this piece, then I think the parking would be centered around that entrance.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. They're all gonna go that way.
That's going to be
So, yeah,
continued
they
to
are,
be.
so we wanna make sure that it gets buffered as far as the sweeps when they go around the corners and that.
Yeah.
But I think that also leads into is that going to be continue to be the main entrance and you still have to access the new piece from the old piece? If there's a new main entrance to the second building, then going around the outside would be more of a...
Yeah, what you're saying is I mean, as a visitor or typically a worker?
Yeah, if I'm a
I think
visitor or
normal
worker,
have to- the
do I have to
normal
come
course
in
of-
in that entrance there, no
Yeah,
matter which
that's
part of the
gonna be-
building I'm going to?
yeah.
Then obviously the parking's centralized around that.
Yeah, nobody's gonna wanna have to park over
If the
there.
north building, there's a separate, new foyer,
Yeah.
new access, new visitor center
Yeah,
up
one
there.
of those doors is probably gonna be a key access card.
Maybe it's just employee only, but visitors all come in
Yeah.
through
I would think, I mean,
the
what are
existing
those?
access, but we'll ask that as a.
So then you get 12
Clarification.
cars, or maybe 36 cars a day, and it's, 12 at 7 AM, 12 at.
Well, then
12
that,
p.m.,
I
12
mean, then that makes more sense to wrap, they were just buffering on the southern end, it may make sense to kind of wrap that buffering going north around that corner, so the light sweep
Yeah.
doesn't kind of come in the backside as well. Okay. They said no additional utility taps, so, we're not looking at anything else for water or sanitary. Anything else that the board would like to see? Concerns, we'll do a resub map with it. I understand their own strip they're trying to keep. It's a water authority requirement. They require you to have an own strip up to the roadway in order to give you water service. So that's why they're trying to keep the one little strip on the east side. They're kind of moving their lots around. Okay. We will, anybody want to move sending the letter?
That's all we did.
No, that
I'll
was,
make a motion to send the letter.
the one was sending the letter to the zoning board for
A second.
support of the variance. This is sending the letter to the applicant.
I moved it. I make a motion to send the letter.
Okay,
Deny Corey.
Yeah. okay. Hetzke,
Aye.
Ashton,
Aye.
Danicourt,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
McCord,
Aye.
Tidings.
We might be able to see a cat fight.
That's all the items I have.
All right. Anybody have anything else to say? And we will adjourn. So thank you all for coming.